Please, all I need is a heart. Please just... Oh, fuck! This is The Binding of Isaac. One of the best indie games ever created. It can also be one of the most rage-inducing games of all time as well. So naturally, I would think to myself, how can I make this even worse for myself? And then, it hit me. If Pokemon YouTubers could ruin the game for themselves, then why can't I? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Binding of Isaac Nuzlocke, where each character only has one life. Once they're gone, they're gone. Like my will to live the 5th time I die to the blow. The challenge ends when we get all 22 endings. And with that, let's begin the first run. Our main goal this run is to unlock Samson. For this, we'll need to make it through 2 floors without taking damage. And the game would help us with that, providing us with treasure rooms, in which we get free items, shops, in which we can buy items, with in-game currency, and secret rooms, which can be a bit random, and you'll use these to defeat a boss at the end of the floor. So, in a way, it's a bit of a resource management game. You have to use what you're given. And luckily for me, I was given an amazing start, getting Lost Contact and Proptosis. Essentially, a riot shield and a shotgun. And with this combination, I would absolutely decimate the Duke of Flies. And with that great start, we would unlock Samson. This would give us at least one more life for the challenge. Now, the only other objective for the run is to defeat Mother, the final boss of the first run. And that was looking pretty promising, as the items I was getting were absolutely excellent. And we would accidentally unlock Lazarus, giving us a total of 3 different characters. Now it's time to end the run and fight Mother. So for every main boss fight in this video, I'll be given a stat and strategy breakdown. In this fight, Mum has 645 health, and I don't even have time to go through strategies because she's dead. And with that, we now have the epilogue ending, and unlock far too many fucking challenges. Like, geez, man. For those of you that have never played the game before, I should probably explain why we just killed her mother. See, the simple story of The Binding of Isaac is Isaac's mum hears the voice of God telling her to kill her son, and Isaac runs away into the basement like a little bitch. Wait, what's that sound? Anyway, with Mother now defeated and more characters unlocked, I would choose Samson and begin the second run of the playthrough. I know what you're thinking. AT, did you not just beat the game? To which I say no, you speak when spoken to. But I should probably explain The Binding of Isaac's boss progression now. To get all endings in this game, you need to complete the game many times. So I will explain this chart better as we go, but for now we've defeated Mother and we've unlocked Mum's Heart. We need to defeat Mum's Heart at least 11 times to move on to the next step of progression. The second objective of the run is to unlock Azazel, one of the best characters in The Binding of Isaac. To unlock Azazel, you have to deal with the devil 3 times in one run. To get devil deals in The Binding of Isaac, you have to make it through an entire floor without taking damage. Then you can sacrifice a heart for an item. Now we just gotta do that 2 more times without dying. Luckily for me, the floors were pretty easy and the deals were pretty good. And with that, we were able to unlock Azazel. Now the only thing left to do with the run is defeat Mum's Heart. This is the first kind of challenging boss in The Binding of Isaac. At the start, you need to kill 4 eyes while dodging a bullet hell. For this, just stay moving so you don't get caught by the lasers. For most attacks, I recommend staying on the left or right hand side so you have more space to dodge the attacks. This boss has 950 health, and when below 20% health, summons 4 rotating laser beams. And it's just that easy. Defeating Mum's Heart grants us with ending 1. And now that we've defeated Mum's Heart, we've unlocked Eden. However, we're going to be playing as Azazel, the much better character. Now, in case you're wondering why Azazel is so strong, this is why. He has a fucking laser beam that shoots out his mouth, doing incredible amounts of damage. And because of this, we'll be using Azazel for the next 10 runs. During these 10 runs, we'll be aiming to unlock some characters we missed along the way. This run, we aim to unlock Magdalene, which we need at least 7 red hearts to unlock. Playing as Azazel, who doesn't have any, this is a bit of a gamble. However, we were born through sin, so gambling is my middle name, and we will gamble that dice all day. And would you look at that, we got Magdalene. And to celebrate, I think we should go back to gambling. It's all I know. It's all the voices in my head are telling me to do. Anyway, we'd go on to finish the run, defeating Mum's Heart for the second time, and this would happen. a devil door would appear. This would allow us to continue progression without killing Mum's heart 10 times. So, as Cuphead taught me, when given the choice to join the devil, always say yes. And deeper into the descent we would go. This would take us to the shoal, where the enemies are much tougher, even having multiple bosses on a normal floor. But with careful navigation, I would manage to make my way through it, making my way to the boss room, where I would challenge Satan himself. So the Satan fight has 3 phases. Phase 1, the regular Satan fight, where at half health he splits into 2. For this I recommend taking one of them down as fast as you can, to half the bullet hell you have to deal with. Once you take down phase 1, the Satan statue will come to life and start attacking you. For this phase, I recommend staying on the left or right hand side, as the attacks are easy to avoid here. Whereas if you go in front of him, he has a high likelihood of shooting you with a laser that's really difficult to dodge. Once you've done enough damage, you'll make it to phase 3, where Satan becomes the lamb and tries one final time to kill you. For this final phase, I recommend moving about as much as possible. Satan will summon these little minions that explode, so keep your distance the best you can. And with enough patience, or just sheer damage, you'll pull through. Defeating Satan will unlock us Judas, and reward us with ending 12. Now with Satan defeated, it's time we get back to unlocking characters and killing Mum's heart. The main objective for this run is to unlock Cain. Cain, just like Mr. Krabs, loves money. To unlock Cain, we need 55 coins at one time. And with a bit of budgeting, we were eventually able to unlock Cain. And 5 minutes later, I would accidentally unlock Eve. So to celebrate, we were going to go to our favourite gambling site and... yeah, no, I should probably stop this now. So, we would kill Mum's heart again, and would you look at that, God forgave us for our sins. This, just like joining the devil, would allow us to fight a boss early, this time being Isaac. Isaac, just like Satan, has 3 phases. For the first 2, I recommend staying on the left or right hand side, to give you more space to dodge incoming attacks. Once below 75% health, Isaac will stand up and start to summon minions, light beams from the sky, and the attacks will become harder to evade. Keep moving and take down the minions and you'll make it to phase 3, where Isaac grows wings and ascends. During this phase, there's an attack where light beams summon across the screen. For this attack, I recommend staying in the opposite corner, and with enough precision, you'll pull through, defeating Isaac and unlocking ending 13. Now, it's time we complete a run without gambling. So the main goal for this run was to kill the bloat. I absolutely hate this little bastard. Apart from that, the goal was to defeat Mum's heart another 8 times, and I would find myself in a battle room overwhelmed with far too many brains. And this is where my first death would eventually happen. Well, into the pit for you. So, we would go on to kill Mum's heart 8 more times, unlocking endings 2 to 11, also in the process unlocking Bethany, Blue Baby, and the Blue Womb, which will be useful later. And now, on the 9th time of killing Mum's heart, you have 2 options. The path of Ascension, where you go on to fight Isaac, or the path of Exile, where you go down to fight Satan. This takes us to the next step of progression. To progress further now, we need to kill Isaac 5 times and Satan 5 times to get the Polaroid and the negative. These would both allow us to travel further into the descent. Now, it's time for the Satan and Isaac grind. I would choose Lazarus and get straight into it. I would start the run, and very early on, I would find something called a clicker. No, not that kind. The kind that you use and it changes enemies on the floor. Or at least that's how I thought it worked, as it actually changed me into Eden. Apart from that, not much else happened this run, although we did kill Pyrocynical's favourite boss.
Fuck, okay.
I would end the run shortly after this, fighting Satan for the 2nd time, but tragedy would strike, accidentally killing Eden without ever giving him a chance. And the very next run, this would happen. Fucking hell, man, I have no range. Oh, fuck off. How on earth am I meant to kill these things with no range? This is impossible. Come on, just hit them. Okay, there we go. Alright, now I just gotta make it past one more, if I can even actually get close. Oh, fuck me, I just lost Cain. Ah! Welcome to the pit, Cain. I'm sure you won't be the last. The next 4 runs, I would defeat Isaac 4 times and unlock the D6 and the Polaroid. And I would follow this up by killing Satan the next 4 runs, unlocking the negative and Bloodlust. Oh, shit. Now that we've unlocked the Polaroid and the negative, we can venture further into the chest and the dark room. Now, it's time to kill some new bosses. The objective of this run is to defeat Mother and collect the Polaroid, reach and defeat Isaac, and make our way into the chest. And in the process of doing that, we would kill a boss that gives us a 50% off Steam sale. So naturally, I would test this by typing up everyone's favourite game, but no, it's still full price. Guess I just won't be able to play it then. But what we can do is collect the Polaroid and make our way down to fight Mum's heart, and upon killing it be told that the depths are dank now.
What the fuck does that mean?
Regardless of what that meant, we were going to ascend and defeat Isaac once again. This time making it further, making our way into the chest. The chest is a very dangerous yet rewarding floor, where you have to beat beefed up bosses in almost every room, for the small chance of getting an item. And worse yet, I would have Curse of the Unknown, not being able to know my health. Regardless, I would eventually reach the boss room, where I would fight Blue Baby, which is just a beefed up version of Isaac. The only real difference is now there's some homing attacks. However, phase 3 is a little bit different, so I'm going to be speeding up the footage now while I go over the differences. So the main difference this fight has is Blue Baby doesn't have the light beam attack, instead opting to chase you down. For this I just recommend keeping your distance, and just like that, the angels will now be holding key pieces, and we've unlocked ending 14. Now let's get right into the next run. So the plan this run is to defeat Mother, take the negative, murder Gabriel and Uriel and take their key pieces, defeat Mum's heart and descend, dunk on Satan, make it to the dark room. Got that? Too bad, we're here now. And that key we collected would open this big suspicious door, but we don't care about that now, as we're here to fight the lamb. Now, I was all ready to dig straight into this lamb, but I was missing one key ingredient.
The lamb sauce!
So, I had to kill him, obviously. So, let's get into it then. This fight is comprised of two phases. Phase 1, where he follows you and shoots easy to dodge attacks at you, and Phase 2, where his head separates from his body. In this phase, his head will still follow you, trying to kill you, and his body will mainly just be an inconvenience. So personally, I just get rid of the body first, so you can focus on the head. You can do either or. Honestly, it's probably preferable you take out the head first, but I like to do things my way, and just like that we would win, and this would reward us with ending 15. But now the real challenge of the run would begin, and we would take on Mega Satan, which is just a hilariously edgy name to be honest. Regardless, I am Mega Isaac, and I will be taking on Mega Satan. Let's do this. Now, this is one of the longest fights in the game, and quite an endurance fight, so make sure you have good nerve control for this. Mega Satan has several periods of attacking you himself, and then after a certain amount of damage he will summon minions to fight you for him. As you can see here, once I damaged him enough, he summoned the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse to get me. But unfortunate for them, I'm a veteran of this game and I would shortly kill each of them. And once again, Mega Satan would try and attack me. When fighting Mega Satan, make sure to target his head, as this is what dictates his health and what phase you'll go into. His hands are a secondary concern and are only a minor relief because they will tend to respawn. As you can see here, the second wave of enemies he would spawn on me is the 7 deadly sins. But as you can see, they would be no match to me, and I would get straight back to fighting Mega Satan, where I would make it to the final phase of enemies he spawns, this time being Uriel and Gabriel, which I mean I already had to kill them to get here, so you know they were no match. Now, I would go back to fighting Mega Satan for the final time. He would have a little more health this time, and he would have a couple new attacks, but honestly, it was nothing I couldn't deal with, and of course he would go down like the rest. This would reward us with ending. No ending, because this motherfucker's back! This is the true final phase of the fight, and honestly this is one of my favourite bosses, so I'm gonna let the fight play out now. If you wish, you can skip to this timestamp. If not, enjoy the fight. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. This would unlock us Apollyon and reward us with ending 16. Now, how about we play a different game mode for a bit? Let's do Greed mode. Greed mode is one of the alternative game modes you can play in The Binding of Isaac, and is necessary for 2 of the endings. In Greed mode, you earn money by making your way through waves of enemies, and you can use that money in the shop to buy items to make you stronger. There are 6 floors you have to make it through, with 10 waves on each floor. The enemies will obviously get progressively harder with every floor, and there will be 2 bosses at the end of every floor. 3 if you choose to deal with the devil, but we would never do that. So after a bit of grinding, we would make our way to the boss floor. And easy does it. Alright, now time for the real boss. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's gonna kill himself. What am I gonna... Oh, never mind, he's back. Alright, let's go. This boss is very simple, yet very painful at times. The boss will summon coins on the battlefield, with one of 3 things on them. Either keys, bombs, or hearts. No matter what it is, break it as fast as you can. As you can see here, I didn't, and got overwhelmed very quickly. However, just like the gorilla versus 100 men, of course I would win. In no way would I get overwhelmed. I dare you to prove me wrong in the comments. But yeah, not much really happens in the fight, so I'm gonna speed it up now. Generally, just break the coins he summons and kill the enemies he summons, and don't attack him when he's spinning around like a doofus. With all that in mind, you should be able to pull through with this fight, turning Ultra Greed to Gold. Because we did this with Azazel, we would manage to unlock Lilith, and we would be granted ending 18. Now, it's time for Greedier mode. Wait, how do I unlock that again? Donate 500 coins to the Greed donation machine. Oh, you're having a fucking laugh? Nah, fuck that. We're not doing this the now. Now we're going to put Greedier mode on a back burner and focus on defeating the Hush and Delerium. So, as I stated, the goal of this run is to defeat the Hush and Delerium. To reach the Hush, we have to defeat Mum's Heart in under 30 minutes, and to reach Delerium, we enter the Void after defeating the Hush. These 2 are some of the hardest bosses in the game, and to defeat them, we're gonna need some great items. And that's why we're playing as Isaac, as Isaac has the ability to reroll bad items into amazing items, like Tech X here. We would also get ourselves Dr. Fetus, Crown of Light, and the Wafer. With all this power, even the Doomslayer would fear me. And with that, we would make our way down into the Blue Womb to challenge the Hush. Which just ends up being another Isaac clone. I don't know what this game's obsession is with the Isaac fight, but it just keeps copying and pasting it. So I don't really need to go over anything here, and we've won. Wait, what's that face?
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, there's a phase 2. Of course there is. This boss ends up going from one of the easiest in the game to one of the most bullet hell in the entire game. And because it's bullet hell, I don't really have much tips for the fight other than get good. But of course there will be some attacks I'll give you help with. For example, there's this attack that a lot of people struggle with, and it looks really difficult to deal with until you realise most of the time there's somewhere you can stand and just not get hit for some reason. And with that, I'm going to speed up the majority of the fight again, until we get the Hush below 20% HP, where the Hush will use this I-beam attack that will follow you. For this I recommend horizontal movement, and with those tips, some patience and some dedication, you'll be able to pull through defeating the Hush. And this would reward us with ending 17. At this point I would go on to defeat the Hush 2 more times, and this would unlock us 2 important unlocks, being the Alt Path and the Void. The Alt Path will be important later, however the Void is important for us to defeat Delerium. The Void is one of the farthest floors you can reach in the Binding of Isaac. It is full of floors and enemies you've already fought, but this time much stronger and much more dangerous. On top of that, there's also multiple boss rooms on this floor. This makes navigating the floor and trying to find the boss much more challenging. But with enough patience and persistence, you'll eventually find your way to Delerium. You know how I said the Hush is the most bullet hell fight in the game? Well, this is the most bullshit fight in the game. Delerium is by far one of the hardest bosses in the game. Delerium has the ability to change into any boss in the game, and sometimes instantly hit you. Another mechanic Delerium has is the more damage you do in a short period of time, the more aggressive Delerium will become. This makes a fight you want to get over and done with as quick as you can, a bit of an endurance fight. But I mean, I'll just summarise how the fight went for you guys. And with that accurate depiction of the fight, we would defeat Delerium. With that victory, we would unlock ending 20, and to get all endings, only 3 major bosses remain. Wait, I feel like we're forgetting about something. Oh yeah. Okay, come on now. Only 1% chance of jump. Fuck! I hate this mode. Alright, that's enough of that now. Now it's time for one of the hardest runs of the challenge. I would choose Apollyon and get straight into it. Now, as I pull off this cool trick, I'll explain the goal for this run. The plan was to go down the alt paths we unlocked after defeating the Hush 3 times. In there we'll find 2 knife pieces after completing various tasks. We will then go on to defeat a harder version of Mother, descend further and defeat Mother's final form. We access these alt paths by defeating bosses at the end of basement, caves and depths. As you can see here, I just use a key and I can access the alt path on my left. This will take us to the downpour, where we'll be looking for a white campfire, which when we touch it will be transformed into the Lost, a character of 1 HP. As the Lost, you need to find a mirror room, which is a replica of the floor we just went through, and in this mirror world you need to find your way back to the golden room, in which you will find knife piece 1. Now when we defeat the boss at the end of the floor, we'll find a barricaded door on the right hand side. This is the alt path to the caves, in which you need to use 2 bombs to enter. This would allow us to travel deeper into the descent, reaching the mines. In the mines we'll be looking for 3 yellow buttons. These can be scattered anywhere across the floor, and once you collect all 3, this noise will play. Which means you gotta go find a room with a minecart and now you can ride it. This will take us to a very eerie abandoned set of rooms, in which there is no enemies and all our items have been taken from us. And we will continue to navigate these rooms until we find ourselves knife piece 2. Now we've been ambushed by the shadow of Mother, and we need to make our way back through the floors we just came through. A little tip here is you can use doors for invincibility frames, and another tip is if there's keys or bombs sitting about on the floor, always pick them up. You will end up needing them. The hitbox for Mother's shadow isn't as big as you'd think, so it's easy to focus baiting her into a corner and circling around her. For a lot of this, it isn't that difficult if you're patient. Just focus on baiting Mother. The floors aren't that difficult themselves. And as you can see here, because I didn't rush it, I can easily escape with minimal damage. Now we'll sacrifice 2 hearts and make our way to the final alt path, this time being the replacement to the depths, and it's called the Mausoleum. I absolutely hate this floor. The enemies on this floor almost kill me every time. Not to mention the boss that quite literally almost ended the run. And for defeating the boss we would unlock the Gehenna, my absolute least favourite place in this game. But it's okay because we got Sacred Heart. Alright, let's go to the next floor. Oh my god, it's the Gehenna. Here's a little taster of why I hate this satanic place. Because of these enemies that only move when I attack. But regardless, I'd still make it to the boss and take on the harder version of Mother. Honestly, I say harder, but it's not too much different. This time the stomp attack comes in 3s, with a plus-shaped wave of destruction on the final stomp. The enemies are harder, and sometimes there's eyes that shoot laser beams across the screen. So just don't stay in front of the doors and you'll be fine. Now that we've defeated Mother, we use the complete knife on the door on the left-hand side of the room. This would allow us to fight a harder version of Mum's Heart. Same strategies apply, stay on the left-hand side so you have more time to dodge projectiles, and at this point you should be strong enough to defeat it pretty easily. Now we go back to the original room and descend further. Now it's time for the hardest boss of the entire run in my opinion, Mother's final form. Once again, I'm gonna let this fight play out its entirety. Here's a timestamp if you'd like to skip past this. If not, then enjoy. And there we go, we've defeated Mother once and for all. This would unlock us ending 21. Now there's only one last thing for me to do. Defeat the beast once and for all. For this I would choose Judas, and while attempting to use 100% of my brain power, this would happen. But that's okay because we didn't die much in this challenge, so I can use Eve. Yeah, I would kill Eve as well. But this time I would use Lazarus, and surely, yeah, no, of course we died. But now we have Apollio, come on. I don't know what the fuck happened to me this day, but I think I got fucking lobotomized or something. Because of this, I choose to come off for the night, because I had just slaughtered half our remaining characters. Hold on, wait. I think we're forgetting about something. Come on now, we're almost there. Finally! That took forever. And now, it's time for greedier mode. For this, I'm going to use Lilith, who's really broken in this game mode. Greedier mode is just green mode, but this time the enemies are on fucking crack. And if you're not careful, you randomly get hit by unpredictable laser beam. Wanna see my reaction to that? Ah!
You die? What the fuck? No!
Right, this pile's starting to stack up now, this isn't good. Fuck it, we'll ride with it. Time for Azazel. Azazel would make this mode much easier, being able to annihilate the harder bosses much easier. That was until I did this.
Hello, motherfucker.
This is the boss that literally just ended the last run. With that attack!
Blood's come back for more.
But I would triumph and find myself Crown of Light. And with that crazy stat boost, I was ready to take on Ultra Greed once again. But I mean, I've already won this fight before, it's not really much harder, so I'm just gonna skip past it for you guys. And as you can see, we'll easily clean up. Easy win. Where's the victory music? This is the true final boss of Greedier mode. Meet Ultra Greedier. This boss is more challenging than you'd think because it's like a nuclear battlefield in there of almost everything exploding. As for tips for the fight, pick your shots wisely and don't stay in front of any door ever. I would usually wait for him to come to me, attack, then leave. If he jumps in the air, do not go underneath him because bombs will rain onto you. And make sure to stay far away when he lands as there's typically an earthquake. As for other general tips, if there's coins laying about, make sure to pick them up because if he picks them up, he gets more aggressive. And with that, we would defeat Ultra Greedier. This would unlock us ending 19. Now, all we had to do was defeat the beast and collect the final ending. I would start the final run of the challenge with Isaac, and the first item I would find is Bloodlust. Maybe this was a sign from the universe. This is actually a good item, and alongside that I would get the Hive Mind and Split Shot via the Parasite. I would also get Holy Mantle, and the next floor I would get Bumbo, one of the best pets in the game, and we would follow this up 2 minutes later by getting BFFs, making Bumbo even stronger. To follow up the good luck, we would get Parasitoid, and 1 minute later get one of the best items in the game, Circle of Protection, followed by Polyphemus. We surely can't fail now. Now before we fight Mother for the final time, we have to blow up the marked skull. This will get us the Fool, and then we can go fight Mother one final time. Wow, that was easy. With Mother defeated for the final time, we would collect the negative, and now all we had to do was use the Fool card, and we would be back to the start of the map. This would allow us to open a mysterious door that only appears at the start of Depths 2. In the room we would find a hole that we would jump right into, and this would take us into the Gehenna. But when we reached the boss room, we wouldn't fight a boss. We would get Dad's note. This would take Isaac back through his past and give us the ability to go through floors we've been through before. And with that ability, we would make our way back up through the depths. And soon after, we'd make our way back to the caves, and eventually make our way back to the basement. But we would go back even further this time, reaching home. Once you reach home, if you touch Mother's bed, you activate the last sequence of the game. Now at this point, I'm going to stop speaking and let the final fight of the game play out in its entirety. This is our first shot at the final boss. And with not much characters left, we have to pull through. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and share with your friends and family. I'll see you guys in the next one.